Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Karen. Today I'm finally opening up about my mental health postpartum. It's really hard to realize you need help until you see someone else talk about them getting help. For me, I didn't realize I needed help. I was just chugging along every day, not even knowing that I was really sad until I saw my friend Nina, your girl Neens, actually sharing her own journey and listing some of the symptoms that she was experiencing. And when I read that, it struck a chord in my heart. That's when I realized, wow, girl, you've been suffering in silence. It's time to reach out for help. So in this video, if there's anything that is calling out to you, you feel you relate to anything whatsoever, this is your sign to reach out for help. There's no better sponsor for today's video than BetterHelp. So I just want to thank BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video because I have been using BetterHelp since 2019. It's 2021 right now, and I have been using them since 2019, and it has been curing my traumas, curing my postpartum mental health issues. I suffer from anxiety that I didn't know I did until I hopped on this service, which is online. You just download it on your phone. You can have it on your laptop. You can access your counselor 24/7 by messaging, DMing, okay? And for me, I'm actually a writer. I prefer to jot down my thoughts, and BetterHelp is a really great way to communicate online with your counselor. So what I really love about BetterHelp too is I really am uncomfortable sitting in other people's offices in person. I don't know, I just have a hard time like opening up. But with BetterHelp, it's all online. You can set up video calls, you can set up phone chats, whatever makes you feel comfortable, okay? It's a really great way to just release and let go of everything that has been on your mind. Even if you think it's not important, girl, it's important because it's bothering you. BetterHelp is not a crisis line. It is not self-help. It is professional counseling done online. So I highly recommend anyone that feels lonely, you're suffering from anxiety, there's stuff that's hindering you from being your happiest or achieving your goals. This is a video for you. Check down the link in the description box below, and I actually have a code for you to get some percentages off to save some money. You guys can check the description box below for the link, betterhelp.com/KarenO for 10% off your first month. And if you guys need financial aid is available on BetterHelp too. BetterHelp wants you to start living happier today. Oh, another thing that I think is super important is BetterHelp makes it super easy to switch counselors whenever you don't feel a connection or you just want to change things up a bit. I really like this because you don't have to like be in person to tell a counselor and make that whole awkward transition. You can literally just cancel it, submit a reason or not, whatever you feel like, whatever feels comfortable to you, and then switch counselors. So I've switched like 5 different times until I found one that really suits me. So I think this is one of the really great things about online counseling too, is that there's no feelings hurt. It is for you and it addresses your needs. And if you don't feel comfortable, you can always change your counselors. Currently, I'm with my counselor. I really, really love her, and I feel like she is my lifelong counselor. It does take a lot of time, and that might be a whole different video on how to find a counselor that really works for you. But today, we're gonna go back to me opening up about my postpartum mental health. So this is the Instagrammer that I'm going to recreate my look after. Her name is Amy Baby. I'm not doing that look though, but she loves green, I think. Here's another green inspired look, but there's a bit of brown, a little bit more like neutral, I want to say, but with green. Last time when I did a makeup look like this, you guys said that you guys wanted me to zoom in closer to see what I was doing. So I actually already started off with this tinted moisturizer by Laura Mercier. Okay, and then I'm going with my trusty Shape Tape by Tarte, and I'm in the shade Light Sand. I'm just going to brighten up my dark spots. I'm gonna go ahead and put it there. I realized that I don't like to pile it on my face, so I actually prefer to take some for the back of my hand and apply it only in the areas that I need it and just blend it out. Talking about postpartum mental health, When I first had the baby, I felt like I was the happiest I have been in a really, really, really long time. It was so magical, you know? But oh my God, it all hits you when you have sleep deprivation, your hormones are changing constantly, and identity shift. You go from being your own person, I had all the time to myself, to all of a sudden not having time for anyone but for my baby. I felt so alone. I felt like no one could understand me, especially in this pandemic. I couldn't really talk to a lot of other new moms about what I was going through. I was suffering in silence and thinking that crying almost daily was normal. I didn't realize that I consider myself very resilient and I can like overcome a lot of things, but mental health is not something that you overcome alone. And I didn't realize that if you let it fester, if you let something difficult fester, it only grows into a bigger problem. I actually wrote a journal entry and I didn't realize this. I forgot. I'm glad I wrote this down, but sometimes I would say I felt so overwhelmed. Felt so helpless, and I was mad at my partner a lot, and I felt like I was unqualified. So I felt super alone, and I felt like no one understood me and what I was going through. I didn't even realize this, but I had really bad anxiety that causes me to stress clean all the time, but I was angry stress cleaning. And it was not abnormal thing for me to go to the bathroom or just cry in the shower or just cry for no reason. I remember one day when Dove would not stop crying, and this was when she was like a month old or something like that. So it is absolutely normal for a baby to cry for absolutely no reason. I called my dad crying and telling him that I don't know what to do with Dove. I don't know why I'm crying. I feel so overwhelmed. Where my mom and dad came over and they took care of Dove, and I got to have a moment myself. And that's when I really opened up to my family and let them know, like, wow, I'm struggling. I didn't realize I was struggling. I didn't realize that I felt this way until I decided I'm going to be vulnerable and just ask for help because I'm suffering. Luckily, my mom agreed to take Dove about 2 times a week so I can catch some sleep and so Leo can catch some sleep, because honestly, this is a huge transition for not just me, but for Leo too. For me, it's a hormonal change too, but for him, he just lost his wife essentially. I was no longer the same Karen that he knew for the past 9 years. I was someone else's property. I was Dove's property. He used to say to me, I miss you a lot. And I didn't understand what that meant, because it's like, I'm here. I'm right next to you. I sleep next to you every night. Why do you miss me? But it really is that, like, when we become mothers, we don't realize how much of ourselves change in the first month, that your partner feels very neglected. And that is not our fault, because this little human needs a lot of help. You know, this little human needs us. I had a really hard time negotiating being there for him and meeting his needs, because I didn't even want him to touch me. I didn't even want to be hugged. I already had enough of that with my baby. And we fought so much. We definitely couldn't see eye to eye. I felt like he didn't understand what I was going through. He wasn't trying hard enough. He was. He just didn't know how to help, because it's a new thing for him too. And I felt like he was asking too much of me to want to have sex. I was like, dude, my body isn't even healed yet. Like, what are you talking about? Or want to be hugged. And I was like, you got to respect my needs too. I just need alone time, which I was not getting any. And we would fight and throw around the word divorce and always fight about, okay, we'll just get a divorce. This isn't working. And at the end of the day, we looked at each other, we paused, and we were like, you know what? We still love each other a lot. We don't want to get a divorce. That is not the solution to things, because we've been together for so long, and we get a divorce over a baby. That is just not what we wanted at the time. And so we decided, you know what? We need help. And we knew at that moment that we needed counseling. And I'm so glad that it got to that point where we both broke down, and we realized that we want to save our marriage. We want to save our relationship. We also want to save our own sanity. And that's when I hopped onto BetterHelp again, because I definitely paused for a little bit when I was pregnant and moving and just doing too much, really. And I hopped onto BetterHelp and I talked to someone. My first therapist was actually a doula. That was a really helpful experience because she gave me some resources and mommy groups to join so I could talk to other people. And then I was actually telling my counselor that I have been stress cleaning, getting so bad that I cannot sleep until the house has no hairs on the ground. Now, mind you, this was a time when I had really bad postpartum hair loss. So my hair would be everywhere. I'm using the Dominique Cosmetics palette again in the shade Mocha. And my hair would be everywhere, and I would be on my knees picking up the hairs, scrubbing every single droplet of watermarks off of my countertops. I would be obsessive with cleaning, and I would get so upset if Leo didn't keep the house the same manner that I needed it to feel like I have a sense of control. And I knew that was not me before I had the baby. I knew that I didn't care like that before. So I was actually self-aware enough to know, like, wow, this is not me. I need to fix this and get help before it becomes a real life hindrance where I can't do anything. So my therapist actually recommended that she calls it exposure therapy, to leave the mess alone, and I would leave it there for a couple days and see if I can feel a sense of peace in different ways. I don't know. Did it work? It actually did work after a while because, like, healing is not a linear process. So it helps for a bit, and then I would get back to my old self, and then I would get better. I'd get back, I'd get better. And that is how it is with my anxiety right now. Like, some days I'm really good about it, and some days I'm like, I go pretty nitpicky with cleaning. It got to the point where I couldn't even have any wires visible. It would drive me nuts. Like, I can't sit there and enjoy myself. So I had to tape up all the wires in my house so that I couldn't see them. It was obsessive. I would say I was pretty obsessed. And I had to adjust all the chairs. Everything needed to be a 90-degree angle. Everything needed to look perfect. And I felt like that was my way of controlling my situation because I felt so out of control. That was a situation. At that moment when I realized, like, wow, I am doing things that I never ever used to do before I was pregnant. That was when I realized, like, I'm gonna need some help because I don't want this to become like a forever thing. I'm gonna use this one here called Seaweed. This is from the Avani Greg palette. This is my first time using this, so let's see how the payout is. It's pretty nice. Okay, so this is how I'm coping. I talk to my therapist weekly, and what I realized is that I am not my symptoms. This is just one part of me that I have to work with, but it is not who I am. My anxiety is not who I am. And I feel like if there is a friend that you trust, those people are also really, really important for your mental health, because I got to talk to a friend that has a baby already, and her baby is, well, not a baby anymore. She's a toddler, so she's been through everything that I'm going through right now, and it definitely makes me feel less lonely. It makes me feel less crazy. It makes me feel normal, that, like, oh wow, so many mothers go through these things, and I'm not alone. Sharing is vulnerability, and it is a step towards healing. So you make sure you find a friend that you can talk to without judgment. Also, another thing that I've been doing for myself is doing things that make me happy again. Instead of staying in bed, I try very hard to get out of bed. Even when I don't feel like it. Some days, I understand there's some days that is just like awful and you really don't want to get out. And that's completely fine too. But if there are days that, like, you feel like, oh wow, I can kind of get up now, take those days to do your favorite things. So for me, it would be like going to TJ Maxx or getting my nails done, or even just doing makeup like I am right now. I just gotta clean that up. Ooh, I'm thinking Haute or this one up here might do the trick. My fingers. Wow. Wow, this ColourPop palette is just exceeding my expectations right now. Okay, eyeliner time, which means I'm gonna speed things up. All right, we're gonna take some micellar water and clean up the edges. I'm gonna use this Huda Beauty because there's a really dark brown here, and I'm gonna use that one to really add the drama. Because that's what's missing right now, the drama. I'm gonna use these lashes from Violet Voss, which has been sitting in my closet for a long time. So ever since I've been in therapy, my relationship with Leo has gotten so much better. And my relationship with my friends and family has also gotten so much better too. My relationship with myself has gotten so much better. Leo and I are learning how to cope on being parents together, but we're not perfect. I was playing We're Not Really Strangers with some of my friends, and one of the questions was, so what would you want your partner to say more of to you? And Leo told me he just wanted me to tell him that he's cool, that his bags are really cool. He would love it if I checked on him more in his hobbies and what he's doing with his free time. And I was like, wait, that's it? I can totally do that. I can say you're cool. I definitely think he is cool. And I definitely think that his bags are super amazing. Like, he's super talented. So sometimes over communicating even the simplest things that you don't think that needs to be said is so important. And for me, I said I would love it if he told me that I cleaned the surfaces really well. I would really appreciate that. Like, if he looked at the kitchen countertop, was like, wow, babe, you wiped this down so well. Like, honestly, that would make me feel so happy. Simple ass things. I feel like I've done way better on this eye. We're taking some powder from Pretty Vulgar. We're going to set the under eye. Let's dust off the powder. Use Venetian Rose for blush. Let's contour my nose. This is such a cool look, you guys. Oh my gosh, I did it. This is the look I was inspired by. I think I did it. This is my completed look from an Instagram picture. And I hope you guys enjoyed me opening up about my postpartum mental health. If you guys feel like you have mental health needs, don't hesitate, because I feel like mental health is the same as if you need a physical yearly checkup. I think it's also important to get a mental health yearly checkup. So I really recommend you guys to check out BetterHelp. I love BetterHelp. It's changed my life for the better, literally so much happier ever since I've joined in 2019, and I've learned so much about myself. I grew so much as a person. Yeah, and I feel like if it wasn't for BetterHelp connecting me with therapists, I would not know where to start. And this is a really great platform. So if you guys are new to mental health help, make sure you guys check out BetterHelp. And thank you, BetterHelp, for sponsoring today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!